Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Collective Rising event. Today, we have another amazing special guest, and we're here today. We're going to share the subject around chaos to consciousness. Now, our special guest, I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you a little bit about her and her magic in the world. So, hi, Xenia.
Hi, my name is Xenia. I know it's a hard name to say, but just go with it. Doesn't matter. Follow your intuition and what soul tells you to call me, I guess.
Mm.
So I am energy healer. I do tarot readings and I do transformational coaching, which is one of my soul purposes. That's why I came here on planet Earth in this lifetime. And it's really teaching people, and I don't like teaching, like sharing with them the fact that we are creators and we can create our own circumstances depending on the way we think. And my aim is to share those concepts with everyone, men, women, anyone that is really ready to make that change within themselves and then see their life transforming. And yeah, there's different tools, we go from, timeline therapy, emotional therapy, and you can start with, Reiki energy healing that then transform and includes all the other modalities that I've been learning in the past 5 years as a healer. And yeah, and I got called just to do this now, and as well as being a mom, I love seeing people transforming and embracing who they really are and what they came here for is just so rewarding and amazing. So yeah,
Mm.
that's what I'm doing now, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, love it, love it. Yes, we definitely are very like-minded in a lot of ways. And for those of you guys that don't know me, I'm Kelli Hurley from Energetically Inspired. And I work as an energy healer and a transformational coach. And I have many modalities. I'm also based on the Gold Coast. We are actually, knowing we met through an international group originally. We actually only live 10 minutes apart from each other. I'm mom, and I'm very, very passionate about helping people, find higher vibrational living, which to me is really about finding fulfillment, happiness, feeling alive, in their life. And a lot of people are living day to day in a survival mode and not full of passion and aliveness, right? And this to me is what's juicy, is when we can create transformation and take people from a space where they are in struggle to a place where they feel like they're thriving in life is just heart fulfilling. And so I'm very much now, as much as I do a lot of one-on-one healings and coaching all over the world as well, I'm also here about helping a lot of the spiritual entrepreneur space to create sustainability in their business so their magic can be seen by the world. Because as we all rise and create sustainability within our businesses, sharing our magic and our purpose, we also help the collective. And that's why I created Collective Rising, was it's about supporting us all to come together to help humanity become a better earth, right? And this is interesting as we lead into today's conversation, because it is the chaos to consciousness. And I'd love for you to share what that means for you.
Would you like me to start, or would
Yeah,
you like
yes,
Jay to
please.
start?
No, you can
So
start.
thank
Yeah,
you,
I'd love.
Jay, for taking the time to come, and so we can have a three-way conversation. Well, for me, consciousness, I'm really embracing the teachings of Grigory Grabovoi, where he says that it all starts with your thinking. It all starts there. And one of the basic concepts that he also embraces and shares with us, which I truly believe in, I always had that inner knowing, is that we are creators. We are creators, and we see an act as creator sees an act. And
Mhm.
everything starts, consciousness is pretty much thinking. So the way you think then gets reflected into your reality. So
Mhm.
he's really making us aware of the fact that um, at the beginning, your thought, especially when it comes from soul, it's pure. It's pure,
Mhm.
it's in harmony, it's love. But by the time it reaches you with your biases and with external consciousness, then it becomes impure, it becomes disharmonized. And
Hmm.
our job and responsibility is to notice that. So as soon as you're observing that you have a negative thoughts, to act upon it and reverse it. Because
Hmm.
that's how you're going to be creating a different kind of reality. And I just love it. I just love that concept. Of
Hmm.
course, you need to learn the tools to, notice and observe what's coming in and if it's distorted or not, and then do the work around it. So and yeah, for me, it's I'm like, yeah, makes total
Yeah.
sense. Makes total sense. Um,
It's,
there's this, unfortunately, there's distortions out there, and it's our responsibility to say no, I don't accept that. I That's what I'm going to do. And the more light we emit from ourselves, because we are light beings, which means the more higher frequency we have, the more light we emit, and the more pure our thinking and acting it's going to be. And when you think like that, then you automatically transform your reality, everyone else's reality, and planet Earth reality, because
Mhm.
we are all connected.
Love it, love it. Yeah, and it's really about the inner world and the outer world are reflections of each other. Sorry, and for me, it's yeah. When we all have thoughts and we think things throughout the day. It's the ones that we allow to define us, the ones that we allow patterns and give energy to, right? Because we do have thousands of thoughts a day, but the ones that we actually interact with and give the energy and emotion to it or a feeling to it are the ones that actually create an energetic frequency which ripples from within us out into the world. And it's a common one that I see all the time when people have a very interrupted inner home world. And when I say inner home world, this is a lot about the system that makes us feel safe, right? And this can be how we function throughout the day. We will notice if they have a very disturbed inner home world, a lot of the time the actual home they live in their own environment is actually chaotic as well, right? And it's something that has also been witnessed through the witnessing effect, which is what you were saying. As we witness something, we sort of can look at it like, okay, is that what kind of vibration? If we're looking at our feelings and thoughts at a frequency level, anything below the frequency of love is a more denser vibration. It's more contracted, right? And that is actually contracting our energy field, right? So we become more singular, and this is also how cancer and stuff develops in the body because it separates itself from the whole, right? And this is where a lot of people find that they're struggling in life is through so much inner turmoil, pain, negative thoughts and feelings, and so if we can start to shift that, the frequency of which we hold from our inner world, we start to change the outer world. And this creates the new earth, right? It's all about how do we raise the vibration on earth is by raising the vibration through us.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And the way I work, I always come from personal experiences. I I don't know. I have this thing that, it's all about I always forget the word. When I say something, I don't just say it because of it. It's because I've experienced it. And um, I'm seeing that the more I change in the fact that the more I am, letting go of expectations, letting go of the limiting beliefs I have, or because of me or because of the life I lived, the more the relationship with my husband and my children improves, and it's
Mhm.
just amazing. And if I can do it, anyone can. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing
Oh,
I say to people. If I do it, you can. And if other people do it, I can. So
yeah. Oh, and I'm with you with that, right? This is very much what like I've been the wounded healer, right? It's everything, a lot of the things that I teach, I experience,
Yeah.
right? I feel the collective energy. I feel, the process. I mean, I went from being in a very stressed state of being where my world felt very destructive in its own inside. My head was crazy, like I couldn't think straight, I couldn't get clarity, I felt confused. I had very much limiting beliefs, didn't believe that I was good enough to achieve things. And, so I would get nudges towards, doing something, and then I would pull myself back. Right. And the biggest thing for me is that I wasn't showing up being the mother that I wanted to be either. Right. And so that's where my journey started, was the reflection of that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And if I want my children to be happy, they needed a happy mother as well. Right. And so that's where it all began for me, is trying to heal from my PTSD, try to heal from my nervous system overloaded experience, working through the reflections of my own inner judgments and criticism and self-limiting beliefs, right? To allowing myself to absolutely ultimately change my whole world and reality, but not even just mine, like my children's, my clients. Like, it just became this rippling effect of how it rippled out into the world. And even now, like in my own children, I can see reflections of my change and my growth, or even still the things that we're always leveling up and evolving. So reflections of that being mirrored back to me, through my children.
Yeah, yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree, I agree. And I find it quite fascinating. Like last week was a very interesting week because I really feel the energies at the moment. I feel like they're all over the place.
Mm.
I don't know if for you guys is the same. Last week I had to and I start pacing and I start doing like 1,000 things and I'm like, no, this is not good. So then you
Mm.
have, so then I'm sitting on the couch and doing my number codes and, bringing peace back into my body and around it. And last week, for some reasons, like it would only last a little while. Then I was
Mm.
back in it. So I'm like, okay. So if I'm feeling like this, I can only imagine what's happening out there.
Ah, this is the thing, like,
You
and
know?
as experiencing through world, like a lot of those been times, and mine I think was the week before. So I usually experience it as the collective's kind of starting to come into it. I've already experienced it. I sort of seem to be like one to know what's about to appear in the field, and have that sense of, oh, okay, what is arising in my body. And so often people think that it's actually very much just them. It's something they're, like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling really negative. I have these inner judgments. I feel really emotional. I've got all these old wounds coming to the surface. And a lot of the time it is related to a collective energy. It could be the moon, for instance, one of the full moons, or, there is a vibrational thing that we are connected to. And the world and the earth goes through cycles, right, of contraction and expansion to purge low vibration, but it's through us that we experience it. And this is where, when I, over the time when I was at first, I used to think, is this me? What's wrong with me? And then it was actually realizing it's not. It was something my friends were feeling at the moment. They felt like they're in like the washing machine being spun around, like these kind of things. And I was like, oh, so there is, and that was that first time of, oh, wow, okay, we are really connected through a collective energy. And this is powerful for people to understand, that we are connected, and there is influences that we can't see with our eyes, but our body, our energy field processes those things.
Yeah, and our subconscious as well. So, but no, I so agree with you, honestly. Yeah, we're definitely talking same language. Yeah. And that's what I started talking with my clients as well when they talk about thinking. I'm like, okay, when something comes in and you recognize it, the first question you have to ask yourself, is it mine or is it something else or someone
Yeah.
else?
Yep,
And
yep,
going to your
100%.
intuitive center, and the first thing that comes within your mind within 3 seconds, that's the answer. Yes or no?
Yep, yep. Yep,
You
learning
know,
how to read ourselves, right? And asking getting curious, right? And it's again asking, is this mine or is this a collective energy? Sometimes it can be ours and just a vibration from external environment that is processing through us. So it is ours, but it is also linked to other things, And it's like we started with the conversation around our beliefs, right? And our thoughts. So often, a lot of those have been imprinted onto us by society or through our schooling systems or our parents, right? And so often they're not the true truth, right? And for me, it's teaching, a lot of my clients, how do they find internally what is a yes? So what is resonance? And what is a no? So what is not truth, right? And so if we start to be able to decipher between that yes and that no, and start to witness, is this that thought or feeling that I'm having really true? And then we are able to see, okay, well, if it's not truth, why are we buying into it? And then what do we do as the next stage? For me, I always tell people it's very important if we're working with anything that needs change within us. It's one, we witness and get curious about it, but we need to reset the nervous system because it's scientifically proven we don't change when we're in the subconscious sympathetic nervous system like that pattern response. So we need to be able to reset ourselves so that we can actually change the pattern, the feeling, the emotion, and start to work on the energy. The energy, it's always energy first. It's E equals MC squared. So it's energy equals matter. So if it's our environment needs changing, we need to change the energy to change the physical matter. Like that, it's actual science. And it's crazy that we're not taught this. We're not in school. We're not taught to look at, hey, this thing in front of us is actually a frequency. And, if we want to change it, we need to change the energy around that. And that's, again, like you said, through the vibrational energy of ourselves. And so if you were to give somebody like a tip or a tool, one, it's like you said, it's the asking, is it yes? Is it true? Is it mine? What would be another tool that you could use? Can you just give me 1 second? My cat's at
okay.
my back door banging. I don't know if you've heard that thumping noise,
No,
and it's
no, we
her.
cannot hear it.
No, but the cat, I've shut the glass door because it's winter, right? So, and she's trying to keep coming in through the glass door and then she can't get in. And I keep hearing this bang, 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 bang. And I'm like, hang on 2 seconds.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yes. Jay, would you like to say anything? I know you wrote something in the chat, so I'm just gonna go and have a look at it. But yeah, feel free
Yeah,
to jump in,
I
you know?
I was just, saying like when you were talking about healing and what people go through. So I was just, saying a quote that we should be the reason of our own happiness because if we are not happy, how we will make others happy.
Yeah, oh,
So it's
absolutely.
always starts with us.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, absolutely. Everything starts with us first. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spot
you
on.
can't pour, and I love that because it's a good reminder too that you can't pour from an empty cup, right? We need to fill our own cup up. And this is when we are feeling unhappy and or struggling in life, we usually are running from an empty cup. I say to people, it's like our nervous system and our energy field is so depleted. People find that they have no energy. They just, and all their energy goes into these negative thoughts and they end up cocooning or depression or anxiety or all these other symptoms that are such a common thing in our society. So it's how do we give back to ourselves is a really, really important thing.
Yeah, and one thing when I'm doing readings, I always remind my clients that happiness starts from within. No one can make you happy. And some people agree. Some people are like, let me think about that. Well, because we are being taught that happiness is external, like you have to have this and that to be happy, and then you have it and you're still not happy. So
Chasing the things, right? It's
that's
like
right.
I
So
my the biggest illusion for me was, it's like the fairy tale, get married, have kids, have the house, you're gonna be happy. And I got there and I was actually really unhappy. I felt alone in my marriage, my relationship. It wasn't the things, it wasn't having the new car or the beautiful home that made me happy. It was actually internally because I was unhappy that it didn't matter what I had, it wasn't filling the cup, right? So that it's true, we have to come back into our own self and work on it. And it's like my client the other day, and of course we don't give names or anything, but he going through a lot of things, and he's unsatisfied with where he's at in his life and questioning and feels a bit lost. And we came through a session and I did the work on him, and at the end of it he was like, wow, I feel so at peace within myself. And I messaged him the next day saying, how are you? And he said, it's really interesting to witness that, because I feel good right now, but my mind is like almost in this confliction of, I shouldn't feel good because I don't, my world's not where it thinks it should be, right? And so, he's saying it was a really powerful witnessing for him to actually reflect that he was allowing these thoughts, or because he wasn't exactly where he wanted to be or didn't know where he even wanted to be, that he was supposed to be unhappy then, and that's not the truth. For me, it's like some of the simplest things in this world, like I see butterflies and I'm like, wow, like how beautiful are they, I feel happiness when I'm in the shower and I'm feeling that warm water on me. I love it, even in my bed in the morning, like, oh, I love my bed. Do I ever have to get out of this, right? Like there's so many things now, and they can be the simplest things when we start to find joy and happiness in those simple things. But I remember years ago, like I was not allowing myself to experience happiness through anything because I was thinking, oh, I'm not where I want to be in life, or my marriage isn't working, da 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 da, and so, I wasn't allowing myself just to see the beauty in life itself. And that's where a lot of people are. There's so many things around us that allow us just to continually experience life as happiness or joy or fulfillment. But this is a frequency that we live in, right? So now everything in my environment feels joyful. Right. I mean, I have days, those moments where my kids trigger me and, like, yeah, I do, but
you're human.
yeah. But it doesn't stick, like it's only, they're moments in time, right? I don't beat myself up and be like, oh, now I'm a human again. Like now I'm a low vibrational human, like I'm like, okay, I am human, like we said, we experience this collective energy. So sometimes we have these emotions, these feelings, but how do we continue to pivot ourselves back to just loving life? And that for me was the real journey of how do I keep resetting my nervous system, because my nervous system was the one that was looping so heavily in destruction and pain and sadness and limiting beliefs, and because they're all neuron pathways, so we get caught in this looping system. And it's how do we keep consistently pivoting ourselves, because we're creatures of habit. So
plus our body, it's used to it. So then it triggers those hormones that and neurological
pathways,
synapses that go there because you're used to it. It's like if you're used to have your coffee every morning and you're used to be angry all the time, guess what? I'm going to create anger. It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is, yeah, creatures of habit. And, they scientifically say that it's roughly anywhere between 80 and 95% of the things that you did yesterday emotionally, and the thoughts and the feelings and all that, will be a repeat of today. Yep. So, if there's only this small window, if it is 95%, there's 5% that we have ability to change. So it's like, that's why we have to be conscious of like, okay, what can I keep doing to pivot myself into a better vibration? What can I keep doing? Because then if you do that 5% of a change, tomorrow you now gain 10%, it becomes a compounding effect. And as we do the change and we keep doing that, we light up neuron pathways, right? And then when the body does, the brain does its scan, it can do the neuroplasticity. So it actually takes the brain's glue and sticks it on these other pathways that you've been consistently pivoting to. First you have to just keep trying to do the thing, and then it's like all of a sudden it becomes unconscious. It's all of a sudden we're realizing that we're actually just functioning in this vibrational state because we kept pivoting ourselves and doing the thing. And I think that's the hardest thing for a lot of people, is being consistent with simple tools, right? They think it's going to be hard, it's just the small amounts of things completely compound, you know. And I say to people a lot of the time, like with our healing, and I show you on a piece of paper, say like, I'm going to do a nice big circle here, right? So our audience, like, I don't see the circle, right? So right now, my pathway is like that, right? There's a lovely line and a circle. But when I start doing the healing work or the change and pivoting myself, we start to, can you see the second line? I don't think you can. You can? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start to, and at the bottom there, it's quite small, right? There's, you know, but over days that compounds and it gets more and more and more. And all of a sudden one day we're like, oh, I just feel good consistently. Like, you know, or I have the ability when I have a day and I've been triggered and I'm throwing, you know, off, we can just pivot ourselves back to something. Now I see Jay before.
Yeah. Or that even doesn't even do anything anymore because you're so constant at peace that it doesn't matter. You know, it just doesn't trigger at all.
The high vibrations alchemize the low vibrations, right? Like they ripple further, they energetically, you know, if you ever walked through a shopping center and, you know, you've seen a kid laughing and giggling with joy, you watch people that walk past that child and they smile and you see that warmth come over them, right? You know, I'll walk around the shopping center and I always like to say, I love to spread the virus of a smile, right? And I walk around just smiling at people for no reason, just smile. And you watch how many more people will actually just smile back. Like there is an impact of how you can actually influence others with simple little things like that.
I know. Yeah, we were talking about smile yesterday with one of my clients. And I've been the one really in my la la land because I'm moving and I don't know where yet. And it's so, you know, daunting. And then people are smiling at me when I'm you know, going for a walk. I'm like, oh, Xenia, smile. You used to smile all the time. You know, now you're in your head.
Yeah.
It's good to see people smiling. It's good to smile. Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting journey. And again, yes, go in, do your own inner work, and then put it slightly forward in emitting the light through all planet Earth and through all human beings, to all beings, plant, animals, everything, and then you'll help raise the vibration for the whole world. That's what we should all be doing automatically. And yeah.
And it's, for me, it's like, so like I say to people, it's this pivot, right? You know, we will have these echoes that exist sometimes when we're doing change, you know, and it's every time we hear that thought and we just pivot again and pivot again, you know, we are creating that energetic frequency and change, you know, that ripples out. Like it's a, you know, like I said, it was like a happy mom is a happy children, means that they're happy with their friends, right? It's the whole thing ripples out of us. And it's super important for others to try it. And if you were like, for me, I look at it from, you know, when we feel dense, we acknowledge it, we get curious, you know, and I say to my clients, remembering that energy moves with intention. So where attention goes, energy flows, right? So it's creating the intention to change that frequency, right? So it's like, it doesn't have to be difficult, you know. Clearing your energy can be really quite simple. It could be literally turning on your favorite song and singing your heart out, and dancing can shift your energy. You could do some breathing where you breathe in energy, and then as you breathe out, you breathe it out and you shake it out, right? I'm letting that go, like, okay, like, and keep doing that, and then go, okay, I'm breathing in, and you imagine that you're pulling in good energy. You're breathing in energy, and as you breathe out, I release this easy and effortlessly, you know. And that's what I needed in my stages. Was I couldn't go and do an hour meditation. I just didn't have the capacity to do that. One, my head was too noisy to sit there. I had to do embodiment processes where I was, and incorporating them into my everyday life. You know, how do I get myself out of my head? Well, I was started to use my senses, right? Like I would feather tickle my hand. And, everyone can try that. You close your eyes and just stop for a minute and just feel how ticklish your hand is if you're really gentle and really soft. If you're sensing this, your consciousness is here. It's not here, right?
Yeah, you're
So we
becoming
can,
present within your body.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I say to people, it's like you can have, if you don't have the awareness, you can get the tools, but without witnessing, okay, oh, actually, I'm thinking these negative thoughts, or oh, actually, I'm feeling this way. You can't use the tools if you don't have the awareness around it, right? But it's not all just in the head. Like, it's your body needs to experience that too, right? Because it's an experience. Life is about experiencing. So allow yourself to be with those movements or those processes. I remember even like things like getting in the ocean, and as the waves would come in, I'd imagine that I'm drawing in energy, and as the waves would go out, I imagine them washing away and taking away all my negative energy. Even every day, I just stop and think to myself, okay, I clear it, and I set a thing in my phone just to set the intention. I release all lower vibrational energy, because we do, from even myself, have sometimes negative thoughts that come over me. It's just a thought that drifts through. I don't always let it define me. But I say that every day because it's like we brush our teeth. We need to clear our energy every single day, right? I ground, I connect to the earth, and I do that by presence of feeling my feet on the earth, and I breathe in the energy, because grounding actually allows us to raise our vibration. So it's all these simple tools that were actually things that I use to get through my PTSD and my trauma response, to pivot my life, and maybe have you got some like amazing tools or simple tools that you use personally?
Yes, I'm using number codes a lot, and because number codes, from what I'm learning, it's light language. And one of the most amazing codes that I've been sharing with a lot of people is the point of calm number code. So when you're using it with intention, and you can either repeat it several times, hum it, sing it, write it on your skin, write it on your walls, on your mirror in the morning. And the more you work with it, the more calm you get within you, around you. You can even use it in a room full of people, in your house, to keep calm within the household. And yeah, the number, if people are interested, is 100-110-5010.
Oh goodness, hang on, let me write that one down. What is it again?
Sorry, give me a second.
100
100-110
110
5010.
5010.
Yeah, no space
Right.
between the digits. And yeah, it's amazing. So please try it and let me know.
Yeah, I'd love to. I
Yeah,
definitely would.
usually what we're meant to be doing is also give them the objective of
Mhm.
what we want to achieve with it.
Yep.
So you
Yep.
can give it the instruction of, I am calm,
Mhm.
or restore peace and calm within my house. You can put it, on someone else's house if they're having issues when you're healing someone else, or you can put it in someone else. You can put it on your children.
Mm.
So yeah, I love it. And we are meant to use it as it is, or we can put it in a silvery white sphere.
Yeah, okay.
And then observe within when your inner eye what the sphere does.
Okay. Love
Yes,
it.
there's different ways, lots of different, but one of I've been sharing is using those number codes, because it is light language. It's pure. There is no distortion in the numbers, and number is one is one in every language, so you can't distort the frequency of number one. That's the
Yeah.
bottom line of it.
I,
You can't distort the frequency of words and sentences,
yeah.
but numbers are numbers. And yeah, the point is not to meditate on it, but to concentrate on the number for as many minutes as you can, and then
Mhm.
see what happens within you. and around you, what kind of feedback you are getting. Whenever you're getting a feedback, which is like a tingle or a sight or whatever happens, it means that the information of the restoring of the point of calm within you, around you, whatever objective you've given, it's done. So at information level and a creator level, the control is done. You just
Love it.
have to wait until you see the results in your
Yep.
reality, because it
Yeah.
takes time to come back. So
Nice, nice.
it's different
Yeah.
concept, different technology to use, but that's
Yeah,
why
well,
I teach different methods. And apart from getting back into your body and feel it, what do you feel? The heaviness, is it your shoulder? Why is it your shoulder? What's connected to it, and then release it. Apart from that, there's different ways.
yeah, different. And I like different things. And I loved when we spoke the other day that, yeah, you said, like words can have different meanings to different people, and it's what I posted even, the other night, was, what's your like terminology of what spirituality is? Because everyone has these various beliefs or ideas, around certain words, right? And so, as you said, when you go like number one is one, it's just, it is. It's like there's no altering that, right? Which brings it back to a lot more of a clear vibration, right? So, I mean, I when I feel into things, it's like, what does that vibration feel like for me, a word, um, and how does it feel resonance? Does it feel truthful to me? And that's how I can say, okay, that feels aligned, but what is aligned for one person and another is very, very different. And that's why there's not one cookie cutter system, I think, that everyone needs in their healing journey. For me, I used lots of different tools, and that's why it's quite powerful to have a toolkit where you're using different things and allowing yourself to go, experience that. Because I know people would say to me, what was like the one thing, and I know nervous system is the one thing that I would always recommend for everybody, because it allows you to drop into a higher vibration, and you can create change through that when we get into a parasympathetic system. But on my journey of healing, there wasn't one tool. There was lots. I was trying lots of things. I get in the shower and I'd imagine washing away, the icky, heavy feelings that I had. And, I speak light language as well. Like sometimes in my client healing sessions, I have these toning and this vibrational messages that come through. And the words to my mind don't make sense, but I know what they feel like. I can intentionally feel like, okay, this is doing some sort of energetic upgrade or clearing, or I can feel it in my being as to what that means, but it doesn't always, like light language, it's has a unique way of expressing itself through that toning and language itself, right? So yeah, it's beautiful. I'm definitely going to try this. I'll try it with
Let me know.
what yeah, it'd be interesting because one of my children are very fiery. He's a Leo, and so he's very like he's beautiful when he's happy. He's extremely happy, but when he's fiery and angry, he's extremely like, it's like very, so it'd be interesting to see if I put that coding in around him to see how it will recenter his energy if it can. So yeah. And
Those numbers can even be written on people's skin. And because we actually have a vacuum on our skin within 3 millimeters from our skin, there's a vacuum, and so it gets absorbed within the body as well. So some people,
so they put
this fascinating concept. I'm like, what are you talking about? So, and then makes you, realize that, it's very important you're conscious of what kind of tattoos you have and
or what words you say, right? And what is the meaning behind those words? And like you said, there's so many aspects around this,
And saying that, you can always claim the meaning back and say, no, this is the meaning I'm giving to that words, because you create your own reality.
We're co-creating, right, with the universe. We actually are
right.
co-creators.
So, but if you say, this word for me means that, and that's you're setting your intention that way,
Yeah.
and then you're using it in a positive
And
manner, then that's it. It's done. The spell is broken.
yeah, and I think this is really, really also a great, powerful point is that as we are co-creating with the universe, we're not separate to it. We are co-creating with it. It's also within us as well as we're, in the
Yeah, we're all
external part of it
connected.
as well. And, it gives people back their power because so many people don't realize that you actually have got the ability to change your circumstances. You have the ability to change how you feel or your environments, right? And there's facet of amounts of tools out there that you can use to create transformation, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I think that's something, a lot of people think it has to, oh, I'm not an energy healer, or, oh, I haven't studied Reiki, but actually, if you tune in, you're always shifting energy, you don't have to, you don't have to be like, have a diploma in these things, you just need to like listen to what resonates for you and use something, right? Like
Yeah.
it's literally like just do the thing. I remember just sitting there going, oh, what if it like it was just like I was like a little bit like a kid of like, what if it does work? Like, I don't know, but I'm just going to try anyway because and it was literally like that. So people would say, what was that one thing? And I was like, I was just doing so many things that I couldn't say that it was just one thing changed everything. It was a consistency of trialing lots of stuff and just being like, this is where I'm going. I'm changing my life. I want to feel better. I want happiness. I want
Yeah.
fulfillment. I, want to have a house that feels like peace and joy, right? So yeah, it was a big thing for me is just keep trying different tools and being consistent with various tools.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. And the other thing I want to make people aware is that whenever you are asking, wishing, or for someone or for yourself, there's a ripple effect. So if you are wishing bad on someone, you need to be aware of that. You are also wishing the same circumstances for yourself.
Mhm. A
So
karmic, like some people say that's the karmic, the law of
yeah, you can
karma, right?
call it whatever you want, but
Yeah.
the thing is this, the same way, and that's the other thing, whenever you're wishing for something good to happen to you, automatically you're wishing it for everyone else. And the other way around as well. So when you are
Yeah.
wishing something negative to happen to someone, or thinking about it, you need to be aware that you're also doing the same to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
that's why it's very important to be aware of what we think.
yeah, 100%, 100%. We don't want to be putting those negative vibes out there in the field, because it's like words are like spells, right? It's why it's called spelling,
Mm.
and so you're that energy is being rippled back, you know what I mean? And that's sort of like even with my around my house, I've got like have things that help to alchemize negative energy coming into my home as well. But also like pretending that they're mirrors, that things are mirrored back to people so they can witness that. And this is where we started this whole conversation of the inner reflections, things are mirrored back to us. So if we're putting something else out and we're thinking that, it's going to be mirrored back to us. So often when something triggers us in that we see in somebody else, it's because we have a belief or it's like a part of us that we need to witness and see and love and work with, because it's true. Certain things that I would see in my children, maybe they'll do things and I'd be like, oh, actually that's something that's in my inner child too, or a part of
Yeah.
my belief systems that I just haven't witnessed yet, that I needed to be witnessed, and that's really powerful, right? Is to just to constantly reflect. And reflection is, for me too, it's also the reflection of being curious within myself and just instead of judging things, just being more open-minded around, hang on, how is this part of me and what does that mean for me, you know what I mean? Like that inner reflection was huge for me.
Yeah, I agree. Become really the observer observe yourself and ask yourself, how is this serving me right now? And if it doesn't, let it go.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, let it go. I mean, it's, for me, it's like for me, it's now too, because I've done so much work. There's a lot of it of being like, okay, I get that. I've been there. You know what I mean? Now I don't resonate in that vibration anymore, but I understand because I have experienced that in my past, So yeah, but it's a choice of whether we want to allow what we choose what defines us. So whatever the stories in your head, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, you choose which one you allow to affect you and your reality at the end of the day. And when we start to acknowledge that we actually have a choice, of how we create our lives, it's powerful, right? So I guess for me today would be really saying to people, one, being present, to witness ourselves with that inner reflections, using tools that, which resonate in pureness, like you're saying, like number codes, or for me it's like energy first, always energy equals MC squared. So always work on your energetic field, your nervous system, and keep pivoting yourself towards actually where you want to go, knowing what your intention is, putting that out to the universe like a beautiful prayer or a spell,
Yeah.
and knowing that it will happen, like the sun comes up, knowing that that's going to change. What if there's anything else that you would like to say to our followers today, what would that be?
Yeah, I would say that on extend what Kelly said and then envision the calm, the happiness spread, because that's how you're going to even more intentionally reset and create new earth.
Yeah.
So don't just keep it within, but expand it. Take that extra minute once you are calm in your point of calm, or you're in a point of happiness, or in your point of love, if that's what you're calling in, and then visualize it going to everyone. I think would be good if we started doing all of that. So in the light of rescue of all mankind, the planet, the animals, the plant. And you
Beautiful.
observe even further how that changes the people around you, and talk about it. Also talk about it, because I guess the point of doing these videos and going live on YouTube is so we spread the word to everyone. So the more people do it, the more changes will be.
Yep. Well, and for me too, when you're saying that, the higher our vibration, when we start to move into higher frequencies and into the parasympathetic system, our energy field opens and expands naturally. So, but we can connect into, we can use things like visualizing a light at our heart, and then imagining, a bubble of light around us. Then we can imagine a bubble of light being around a house, and you might not even feel that, but just visualize and set the intention. Eventually I go, okay, I see a bubble around Australia, and then I'm like, now I see the earth glowing, right? And sending this beautiful high frequency of heart vibration, which is, and so if we connect to our heart in gratitude, in love and an appreciation, right? We've already adding a beautiful frequency of alpha, and then we just imagine that beautiful light is now expanding to the size of the earth, and that we're sending this beautiful loving frequency to everybody. It's really powerful. I mean, and I say to people, even then, you can even just do like an energy bowl, when you rub your hands together, and then you kind of close your eyes and you feel, right? And then you set the intention of like breathing from your heart into this energy bowl of love, and then blow it out, right? Like I'm just sending this beautiful energy bowl into all of you, through connection, and people can do this, and you can actually feel the energy between your two hands, if you rub them together and actually sit there, close your eyes, you'll feel as if there was like a rubbery ball, and so there's this energy ball, and you can put that and just send that to people and send that to your plants, it kind of is like a really great reminder of, like Dr. Emoto's theories, right? Where he was talking about, how words change things. And I don't have the rice here, but I've done it in rice jars, and they've done it on plants and things like that, where, they've tested this, that they would have one plant that they just say you're thriving, you're beautiful, you know, you're going to create abundance of fruit or flowers, and they would talk to this one plant all day. Then they would have one that they would ignore, and then they would have one that they would say, you're disgusting, you know, you're not going to grow, you know, you're whatever. And it literally happens, right? You know, and so this is the same thing that Dr. Emoto used, you know, in various things, in water examples. They've done it with plants. I've done it in rice jars, you know. So, and that's really, really powerful, right? Because I did that with my children with the 2 jars of rice. And anyone out there, do this with your children if you've got it, is cook some rice and get 2 jars that can be completely sealed, right? So once you've cooked the rice, drain the water out, put the rice in these jars, seal the jars up. Then on the front of one, create some sort of positive, you can be just speaking positive words to it every day. I love you, you're amazing, or, you know, like just beautiful things, right? And then on the other one, you know, you can have, okay, I'm going to release my negative energy. So I'm feeling yucky, you know, and saying the words, because bullying and things like that at school and kids having such negative thoughts is such a common thing, right? The self-worth and realizing, like, kids don't realize, oh, those words actually do impact people, right? And so I did this with my children, and I wish I had the jars beside me right now. They're in my treatment room, but anyway. And my son took them in for show and tell in grade 1, and his teacher asked me to come in and actually do it with the whole class. So I bring the jars in, and so to watch, because it was just me and my eldest doing it originally, you know, you could see the transformation within days on the one that we were speaking bad words to. It was like going moldy and orangey colors and all that on the top, right? But the one that was done with the group, right? It was really powerful to witness, because it changed so rapidly, because there was 24 kids every day telling it was ugly, it's disgusting, and this other one's, oh, you're so beautiful. But now the impact of that, when I say to my children and they're having moments where they're saying negative things, right? I'd be like, oh, are we talking a bit moldy to ourselves, right? In the reflection, because they've physically seen how their words had impacted these jars of rice. And my son that did this in his classroom, I've got those jars still. He's in grade 7 now. So 7 years later, the one that they spoke positive thoughts to is still white. The other one is almost pitch, like it's dark black with all that green all the way through it. 7 years later, the one that was spoke beautiful things to is still not moldy.
There you go. I
Yeah.
know. And people don't know these things. It's fascinating.
Well, when I show
YouTube,
people
the
that,
experiment is on YouTube.
yeah, right. Like when I
rice experiment, it's there. It's there.
Yeah. And but it's powerful. I remember the first time I seen it, and I was like, wow. And I've introduced that in many of my programs, and you know, when I've done workshops, and people to physically see it and they go, oh, like, so then it gives them that idea of like, actually, how much am I affecting my own cellular body?
I know.
Because we are made of the, you know, material.
We're made of water, yeah, but it's
Yeah,
not just the water, you know.
Yeah, that's right. So it becomes really, really reflective of people and don't, you know, when you notice that you're doing negative things, don't judge it. Judgment is another low vibration. Just witness that and acknowledge that. And like I said, it's just about getting a little bit more curious about that. You can pivot it, you know, whether you want to unpack it and reflect as to why you keep doing the same thing, or whether it's just that you're a creature of habit. But you know, don't judge the judging, right? That's a common problem that people get caught in, is that they beat themselves up for being human and having negative thoughts. It's literally just pivot yourself. Just keep pivoting. Okay, what's something I can feel into my heart and raise my vibration with appreciation and gratitude? What is something I love, you know? And straight away we're changing our vibration.
Yeah. In the practice that you were doing before with the ball, the sphere, you can now put the number that I gave you in it and see what happens.
Yeah, nice. So we can just create that beautiful energy ball, and then putting the 100-110-5010 into that, like, because I can see that. So just imagining that being mirrored,
what happens,
and then blowing this into the universe, right? Beautiful. Well, that's wonderful. Did you have anything else you wanted to share today?
No, really, no. If people are interested in working with me, just reach out. We're gonna have all the details in the comment.
The links,
the description box.
yeah. And I think you're on Facebook. It's Healing with
Xenia,
Xenia, yeah. I didn't want
very
to say it
simple,
wrong,
you know.
right? Yeah, and everyone
Yeah.
that wants to connect with me, I'm energetically inspired. So Kelli Hurley, energetically inspired. I'm on most platforms under energetically inspired as well. You know, so by all means, reach out. There is potential of other collaborations. You know, and even in the near future for other healers that we're looking at bringing some sort of a collective event more so where there's a few of us and we can come together with the power of intention together to create a raise our vibration of humanity or do a healing event as well. So that'll be something to come in the future. And I would love to have you come and join us for that one as well. So, you know, bringing your beautiful healing gifts and knowledge and wisdom and your numbers of pure light language into the space. But yeah, it's been really beautiful sharing with you today. And thank you so much for coming and joining us here on the Collective Rising.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I really, really had lots of fun.
Yeah. Let's try and catch up and go for a walk or something around the lake too, since you're not far away. It'd be lovely to meet you
Yes,
in person.
absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
darling. All right, everyone. Well, thank you again. I hope you guys enjoyed. By all means, like I said, if you want to reach out to either of us, we're both here to help with healing and, you know, transformation and helping you have a brighter, more fulfilling, joyful, loving life.
Bye.
All right. Bye. All right. We're just going to stop recording.